Welcome to Save As Ability, a podcast to educate and inform you about disability employment issues. My name is David D'Arcangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back for another episode of Save As Ability. It's David D'Arcangelo. And as we're filming this, we've come off 2 episodes where we filmed a little bit early. I think people know we record like a week or 2 ahead of time. And so this one is straight for October as National Disability Employment Awareness Month. So we're staying on that theme of the past couple of episodes. And today we're talking about, or the title for this one, I guess, is Incentivizing Work is the American Way. And I really believe that America, the land of opportunity, was built on hard work of all the people that have come before us, that are here now, that are to come in the future. One of the reasons we're successful as a country is because of the great work put in by all Americans. And that includes people with disabilities. So we'll get right into it. And the American dream is built on work. Unfortunately, though, many of the programs for people with disabilities that are put in place now, instead of encouraging them to work, it's really almost a disincentive to work. And we're going to go over some of the particulars here. And I would assert that that's really not the American way. That's not what we want to be doing. If we want America to thrive with our whatever percentage of Americans are people with disabilities, whichever metric you want to look at. Do you want to look at the American Community Survey definition, the 12 or 13%? Do you want to look at the larger definitions where it's maybe as high as 20 or even larger percent of Americans with disabilities? Whichever one you want to do, I assert that working is great for all people, not just people with or without disabilities. All Americans should aspire to work and use your talents, use your abilities. You know, one of the mottos we have for this program is you can't have a disability without first having ability. We choose to focus on the ability that everybody has, and that includes persons with disabilities. So I assert that if America wants to thrive, our programs and policies must incentivize work. And unfortunately, too many of them have evolved into where they're not doing that, okay? And there's a reality out there, and there's multiple different studies we looked at, by the way, all across the spectrum. Some from the left or the right, or non-political, non-partisan at all. And these studies show that in many states, like one metric that I pulled out is 14 states, a family of 4 with nobody working can collect government benefits equal to a job paying $80,000 a year. And in a state like Massachusetts, where I'm from, that can rise even more, up to maybe $115,000 a year in 2025 numbers, okay? And so people with disabilities are smart. They're making good business decisions here. Why do I want to go to work at a minimum wage job that has no benefits when I can get all these benefits and not work, right? So they're making a business decision there of, wait a minute, the better thing for me is to not work. And I think we've got to rethink these programs, because that's not good for the people with disabilities. It's not good for the labor force. It's not good for America. So it's no. And we want to get yes. All right. So paying Americans not to work, I would assert, is un-American. And so think about that for a second. If we're paying people with these government benefits, particularly federal benefits, some state benefits as well, but the other programs as well. So yeah, it's the cash benefit programs, but it's also housing benefit programs, healthcare benefit programs, food and oil and fuel assistance, and like all kinds of other things, right? And now everybody agrees that we need to be able to provide for people, particularly people with significant disabilities, right? That isn't at issue here. What's at issue is we've got 2/3 of all working age people with disabilities not even in the labor force. What are we doing? We're incentivizing not working instead of incentivizing working. So, and by the way, we've had a chance. We've just had 50 years, maybe plus if you want to go back to New Deal policies. We've had decades of trying it that way, and it hasn't worked. We're not improving the situation for people with disabilities, which is the goal. So in order to improve the situation for people with disabilities, I assert that we want to incentivize work. Okay. And we can do that in a number of ways. I really just believe that work matters. It matters to the individual with the disability. It matters to the business community because we're not getting the talents and abilities that we can out of these people that have great ideas and talent to give to make the next great invention or productivity or whatever the case may be. All right, let's look at another data point. In 24 state, unemployment plus ACA benefits, that's Obamacare essentially, like those subsidies, exceed or equal the median household income. So again, like this is like, what are we doing? We're paying people not to work in essence, and that's not good. So many Americans face a financial penalty for taking a job or a worse deal than they would if they were like at some entry-level job or something. Again, people with disabilities are smart. They're making the best decisions for them. Well, if you present them with those decisions, like, of course, they're going to take it. So let's fix it so that these perverse eligibility rules are changed. These disincentives are changed into incentives. Okay. It sounds pretty simple, but this is going to take a lot. We need to get laws changed. We need to get regulations changed. We need to get policies changed, but we can do it. That's the good news. All right. So here's another data point. Families making over $300,000 in most states, and even something like $600,000 in West Virginia, qualify for ACA subsidies, for an example. So my point is, like, this isn't a safety net. All right. This is like a system that's undermining work. I think everybody's in favor of, wait a minute, we don't want people to be in poverty. We don't want people to be poor. Well, wait a minute, though. We've had metrics on the other on previous episodes where we show that somewhere around 25% of all working age people with disabilities are at or below the poverty level. And then when you make that like 200% of poverty level, which is still a low wage, it's like 50% of all people with disabilities. So again, like, if the programs were working, that wouldn't be the case, but that is the case. So I really believe that paying people not to work harms Americans. It harms Americans with disabilities, but then also harms other Americans. It's unfair to other Americans that don't get these benefits. It harms the individuals with people with disability because it's depriving them of dignity and the, making good on the talents and abilities that they have. They have real skills to be able to put to work for themselves and for the business community, for America. They can help build the next America, but they're trapped in dependency. They're trapped in these programs that once you are on them, if you go over, there's this benefits cliff and you lose all your benefits. And now that's a major calamity, a major problem. We don't want that. You know what we're for here at Save Disability. We're about increasing access to independence and self-determination. All right. That brings all the good things. That helps people. All right. So working leads to greater freedom. That's the bottom line. All right. And then the current programs really, you could argue, are harming communities. Why? Because it's keeping people out of being able to engage fully in the community. Local businesses can't find workers. Schools, hospitals, essential services are compromised because they don't have the talents and abilities that these people have to give, right? So that's like a double whammy on the system. The more we can employ people with disabilities, the better we can, get their talents and abilities to help the whole community. All right. So, and then overall, it harms America because it really, America's the land of opportunity, and we're depriving individuals with disabilities access to opportunity by keeping these programs so high. It's not allowing people to work. So we got to fix that. There's a call to action here. And really, what do we got to do? We've got to rethink these programs. These programs, when they were put in place, although well-intentioned, was 50 years ago longer, some of them. We need to modernize them. We need to bring in the private sector and capital markets to unleash the prosperity that is contained in these Americans with disabilities. It really is It sounds simple. It's difficult to do because we've got to get everybody agreeing that paying people not to work isn't good for those people. It's not good for America. It's really, I'm trying to get a win-win-win. Good for the person with the disability, good for the business community and enterprise that can, find the next invention or the next productivity or employ more people. And then that'll be good for America. The rising tide will lift all ships. So, this can help so many people with disabilities, but we've got to be resolved to do it. And it's going to take cogent leadership, by the way. Like, I see these articles that are written by these, like the Washington Post and these clearly agenda-driven partisan outfits that don't know what they're talking about. I welcome any of those individuals on Save Visibility to have a rational discussion, by the way. Like, for example, a colleague, E.J. Antoni, was just up for one of the premier roles at the Bureau of Labor Statistics. This guy is brilliant. He would have gone in there, modernized the whole thing, improved the whole thing, with and without disabilities, by the way. But then there was this nasty attack by all of these different media outlets on him. Why? Because he's going to change things for the better? Like, because he's going to improve things? Terrible. And those news outlets should be ashamed of themselves. So, the great work done by him, Casey Mulligan, a lot of other people, just because we're like, free market people, like we're penalized. No, the free market is what's going to help these individuals with disabilities thrive and really do better. So we're going to fix this, I promise. Okay. So reach out. Let us know how you feel about this. This is for Disability Employment Awareness Month. The goal here is to get more people with disabilities, one, in the labor force, two, employed. I think everybody can be for that, right? Let me know. It's David Darkangelo, another episode of Save Visibility, and I hope you have a great day.
For more information about disability employment issues, please visit our website, disabilityemploymentsolutions.com. The Save As Ability podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our YouTube channel at Disability Policy Expert, or wherever you stream your podcasts. Subscribe, stream, rate, and review our shows. Your ratings and reviews help our show reach new audiences. Produced by Pod Pro Entertainment. Save As Ability lives within a network of podcasts located at podproentertainment.com. #TheNewRadio. Again, my name is David Darkangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert. Until next time, thank you. I hope you have a great day.